You are listening to WMHW HD1 and HD2 Mount Pleasant Mountain 91.5, a service of Central Michigan University School of Broadcast and Cinematic Arts. Good afternoon, and welcome to Card Guys episode 16. This is going to be a fun one, folks. I'm Anthony Schulte, joined today by Ryan Donnelly, Doug Mobley, and once again, Michael Rosenkrantz for the second straight episode. In 5 minutes, we talk about Michigan's big win over Ohio State. 20 minutes, we go over NFL Week 12 action. And in 30 minutes, we talk some NBA card news from Card News on Card Guys. Gentlemen, how are we today? A beautiful Victory Monday.
You know, I miss home, but I'm on top of the world. Michigan beat Ohio State.
Oh, yeah.
Red Wings are on a little cooking streak right now. We don't need to talk about the Lions. Gentlemen, how are we?
I'm doing great. Rested up after a glorious Thanksgiving break, and it couldn't have been any better for sports, except the Detroit Lions. But regardless,
We moved
doing
past
fantastic.
the Lions.
Hope your Monday's going well. I'm a little under the weather, but I do miss home. I miss my family. It was great, to see everybody. Shout out everybody that I saw over the weekend. Hope you all are doing well. I'm very happy. Pistons are losing 13 straight. The Lions lost, but hey, we got a Michigan win. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine today.
It's awesome. It's awesome. So we have a packed show for you guys today. We're going to start with a battle of the bottom of the NBA tonight, and what could be the funniest game in the NBA season so far. Jordan Poole, who's questionable, and the Washington Wizards coming to Detroit to play the Detroit Pistons. Both teams are on losing streaks. Both teams have a 2-14 record, and both teams absolutely stink. It's going to be a fun one. Hopefully Jordan Poole doesn't play, but this is a must-win game for the Detroit Pistons.
We've lost 13 straight. We're 14th in the conference. We're tied for the worst record in the league.
Our longest losing streak last year was 11 games. We've already matched that a month in.
And it's bad. It's so bad. It's a combination of just not making moves and terrible defense and just injuries.
Turnovers.
Turnovers is the biggest problem. But this game is going to be so funny. I'm sorry.
It's going to be fun.
This is going to be a fun game. This game might end up being like 30-24.
And there's no excuses. This is a game. This is considered must-win for the Detroit Pistons. I'd say the same thing for the Wizards, but it's must-win for the Detroit Pistons. They're coming in as favorites. They're coming in as a team that, in most games they've lost this season so far, it's been close. They've had the lead in the fourth quarter. They've been in it down the stretch. They've been in it in the fourth quarter, and they lose the game, whether it's turnovers, not knowing how to finish, not knowing how to do anything on the court, it seems, in the fourth quarter. The Pistons have been in at least half the games that they have lost so far this year. You flip the script, maybe give us a couple healthy players, maybe clean up some of the turnovers, maybe work on our in-game adjustments, Monty Williams, and all of a sudden we're almost a 500 team. Instead, we're 2-14. This is a game where you played well against the Bucks. You played well against the Sixers for the most part. You played well against the Cavs for the most part. You played well against the Hawks. You played well against the Pacers for the most part. You need to come into this game. And I'm expecting the first half of that Portland Trailblazers game twofold. Both halves. And if we choke it again, Wednesday's rant is going to be something else. But this is must-win for Detroit. This is a game where you need to come in and you need to end the losing streak, start some momentum. Look, the next month of games for Detroit, you're not playing a single team under 500. The Pistons have the toughest schedule going into Christmas. You need to win this game. You might be able to sneak away a couple against these 500 teams, but it's not looking good until we get to the second half of the season, which, by the way, second half of the season, add some healthy players, add some more chemistry, knowing the system a little bit more. I think the Pistons could put together a couple big winning streaks in the second half of the season. Nonetheless, Pistons need to win tonight. Must-win game against the Wizards.
Yeah, I mean, being somebody who actually likes watching Jordan Poole play, I want him to play tonight just for the sake of...
He's also... Isn't he on your fantasy team as well?
No.
Oh, he's not?
I wish he was. I wanted to draft him, but I didn't get the chance to. No, I just really like Jordan Poole. I think he's just a really good player, and in Washington he can kind of be his own player, not just be Steph Curry Jr. But if he doesn't play, they have no excuse not to win this game. Like, Kuzma's the only player out there that can actually do something. The Pistons need to lock it in for tonight so they can actually lock down the game, get something good for once after the last 3 games. You know, we almost beat the Nuggets. There's no reason we shouldn't win this game.
This is must win. Seriously. Like, if you lose this, it's time to make some moves, and our wonderful general manager won't. We have so many Nepo babies on this team that we can't even make moves.
Well, Troy Weaver, I don't think you should make a move until you have a healthy lineup, and you can evaluate this team while healthy, because you still don't have Boyan back.
You don't have Boyan. You lost Monte Morris till January.
Which that's
Having
too.
Livers back helped a lot, I feel like.
Especially against that Pacers game.
That
He played
Pacers
well.
game, he helped a ton, and he played really well. But it's good to see that Monty finally made that adjustment to start Ivy over Killian. And just, if you lose, then you're the laughingstock of the NBA.
If we're not already.
We are. If I'd say a win for me, it's not just a win, but a win by 10+, I feel like. Because we're capable of beating the Wizards. We are 1,000%
We're capable of beating almost
the
every single
Hornets.
team we've lost to.
Yeah, we could beat anybody with, like, Boyan and Monte back, but just win. That's my thing. A win will make me so happy. And Jordan Poole, is he good? Absolutely. And he's getting paid like he should. And then you got guys like Kuzma and Denny Advia, and just try and win, please.
So, Pistons Wizards tonight, 7 o'clock, Bally Sports Detroit. You guys could watch that clown show tonight. It's going to go on a little bit more of a happier tone. The University of Michigan Wolverines defeated
sir.
Ohio State on Saturday in one of the best games we've seen in a while in college football, I'd say at least. An impressive win. Rod Moore sealing it with a nice little diving interception. So Ohio State's so salty, they haven't posted the final score graphic yet.
No.
Nope,
They still haven't.
I don't think they will,
They never will.
because they lost 3 in a row to Michigan, who lost, 20 years in a row?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Let's see, the last time they beat Ohio State 3 years in a row was 1997, and they won the national championship, boys.
Yep.
History repeats itself.
I hope so. Now, do we think Ryan Day has coached his last game as a Buckeye?
I think so.
I don't think so, because, well, he hasn't proved himself in the playoffs. He's proved himself against literally every single team he's played except for Michigan. There's something to be said about that. Some teams just, some coaches just cannot find a way to win against certain teams. And I think Michigan is his match. But I don't think that they move on from him just yet. He is a very good coach. As much as I dislike Ohio State, he is an incredible coach. I don't think they move on yet.
I think they do. I saw this graphic a lot on Saturday. 34-0 against non-ranked opponents. But when you're talking about a top 10 opponent, he's 1-6. Well, now 1-7 because he lost to Michigan 3 times. He lost to Alabama or Georgia last year in the playoffs. And Georgia, thank you, Michael. But the only team he beat was Notre Dame this year, and they were top 10. And now look where they are. They're terrible now. I think it's time to move on from Ryan Day, especially he can definitely prove himself. He's a great coach. He can definitely prove himself against the Indianas, the Michigan States, and the Wisconsins of this country. He can definitely prove himself with that. But when it comes to the Notre Dames, the Georgias, the Alabamas, the Michigans, the top dogs in the NCAA, he can't prove himself.
Yeah.
And a good coach, and Jim Harbaugh, has he proved himself? Sometimes he has.
Everything except for the playoffs.
Except for playoffs and bowl games, he's proved himself. I think it's time for him to move on. Everyone at Ohio State hates him. I think it's time to have a culture change. You have a 5-star quarterback coming in next year, and I saw his tape on Sunday. Whew. He is fast. He has a cannon. He is going to be scary. He's way better than Kyle McCord, and I think Kyle McCord will I think he'll start next year, and then the freshman will redshirt, but McCord didn't hype up to what he did on Saturday, and Michigan just played outright better. There were some controversial calls in that game. The reffing was iffy, but I will take the reffing no matter what because we got a win out of it. And just this defense came out to play. J.J. McCarthy, again, looked like the second coming of Tom Brady. Michigan, am I scared for the football playoffs? Yeah, a little bit. But then again, we get Harbaugh back. Everybody will be healthy except for Zinter, which that's a huge loss.
Yeah, but you saw how much. I don't like Zinter's. Yes, huge loss. I don't think Michigan cares. I don't. They proved against that last fourth quarter, they do not care if they lose anybody. They will go out and play just as hard, if not harder, because they're losing a key piece of their player. Blake Corum, literally the next play, scored a touchdown.
And then he threw up the 6-5.
Beautiful moment.
That was beautiful.
That was one of the best college football moments I've seen in my life. I think this go around with the playoffs, you have Corum back, you have a healthy J.J. McCarthy. I don't think that the two teams below us can. I don't think we lose to Washington.
We don't
if
lose.
we play them. There's a chance we lose to Florida State just because they're an SEC school. That's always on a possibility.
Well, then again,
and if we make it, we probably lose to Georgia. But I think we put up a really strong chance. Brock Bowers is healthy.
If you guys have listened to me throughout the last couple weeks, I'm not the biggest fan of Georgia.
No.
I don't think Georgia's that good. I don't think Georgia's that good. I think Michigan should have been number 1 3 weeks ago.
I agree.
But, of course, the sign stealing stuff, and all of a sudden, so controversial, and, will they beat Ohio State? We did. We beat the number 2 team in the country, who was the number 1 team in the country for a couple weeks, and we're still not number 1.
Also, we didn't even have Harbaugh.
We had Sharon Moore, who is an offensive
fantastic.
genius. And I feel like if Harbaugh leaves next year, he should fill in. He'll be the perfect replacement for Michigan. But after all this sign stealing stuff, just disproves that you don't have Zinter, you don't have Harbaugh, and then you're in this controversy, and then you beat technically the number 1 team for a couple of weeks. That should prove that you're a threat.
Georgia barely beat Georgia Tech. Georgia struggled against Georgia Tech for that first half, especially to start the game. How is Georgia still number 1? Who has Georgia beat? Tennessee?
They put up more points than Michigan. That's the only reason.
Me personally, I don't think that matters. Who have they beaten? The CFP has made it known. It's about who you've beaten, not how good you are or how many points you score. It's about who you've beaten. What's your resume? What have you done this season? Okay, Georgia. I'm going to their schedule right now. I'm going to Georgia's schedule right now. Let's see what they've done this year. They have played. Where was the start of the year? Right here. They beat UT Martin, Ball State, South Carolina, UAB, Auburn, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, Florida. They beat Missouri, who's ranked number 9 in the AP poll right now. So, okay, you beat Missouri. You beat Mississippi. That's a solid school. Tennessee's unranked. So you beat 2 ranked teams, 9 and 11.
Tennessee was ranked at the time, though.
They were ranked at the time, but they're not ranked currently right now.
Fair.
Is what I was saying. Their biggest test, Georgia, is against Alabama. It's against Alabama. And I don't know if I just don't want Alabama back in the college football playoff, just personally.
They won't.
But, I mean, if it's a close game and Michigan annihilates Iowa and Georgia-Alabama's a close game, I could see Michigan. I think Michigan should be number 1. When the rankings come out either today or tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow. When the CFP rankings come out, Michigan should be number 1. Michigan beat Penn State what was Penn State ranked when we beat them? 9. And we beat the number 2, who was the number 1 previously.
And we beat Notre Dame.
And we beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, honestly, that's a good take.
That's a great take.
I'm looking at this schedule right now. They only beat Missouri by 9. They annihilated Mississippi. I'll give them that. But, I mean, come on, folks. What are we doing here? Why is Michigan not number one? You can't say it's strength of schedule because Michigan has played a better schedule, and they've played. And I get it. Big Ten's not as good as the SEC. Blah blah blah. I don't care. Look at the ranked matchups. Michigan was better than Georgia this year. From the eye test, they've been better, and based off the schedule, they've been better. I think Georgia's overrated, and I think, you know what? Their biggest test is Alabama. Their biggest test is Alabama. If it's even close, I think Michigan jumps up. But I want to see Michigan, Georgia in the CFP.
I would love that.
I want to see it.
Also, I have a hot take. Colston Loveland is better than Brock Bowers.
Ooh.
Colston Loveland
I like
is a
that
sophomore.
take. I like that take.
Loveland is a sophomore.
That's spicy.
Loveland is
Bowers
fantastic.
is a senior. I think Loveland has a massive ceiling over Brock Bowers. And I also think that we are not going to slow down much next year because Alex Orji is a stud.
It's an orgy in the end
Orgy's
zone.
fast,
That kid-
and he has a cannon, too.
I've seen his high school tape. It's
I mean,
it's
he came in
good.
for 2 plays, 2 rushes, 22 yards.
Yeah. And basically gave us a touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, Michigan has a bright future ahead of them for next year and the next couple years. So, I don't know. Brock Bowers, definitely really good. I think Loveland's better than him.
Bowers will go really high in the draft. I feel
Bowers is a
like.
top 10 draft pick.
He is, and he's a great tight end. But I like that. I love that take now. Oh, wow. Loveland. He's great.
It's a great take.
He's like Laporta.
I told my
Kinda.
dad in the middle of, in the first quarter, I was like, Loveland is going to change this game, and he did. He's the reason we won that game. I'm not going to lie. If we didn't have him, we would have lost probably 70, 80 yards.
Yeah.
So
We might not have won that game without Loveland. He made some big catches, especially down the stretch. I'm looking at Michigan's schedule right here. They have annihilated almost every single team. And then you get to Maryland, which was close, but I think we did not prepare for Maryland at all, which I could see in the Ohio State game. We didn't really prepare for Maryland at all. We escaped that one with a win. I mean, I'm looking at this. I mean, we shut out a team. Georgia hasn't done that. The entire start of the season up until Minnesota, we held teams under 10 points, and Minnesota was only 10 points. And then Purdue was only 13. And then Penn State was only 15, which holding Penn State to 15 is impressive. And then Maryland was a rough one. And then Ohio State was 24 as well. If we're looking at resume, the CFP will do their job when they release these rankings, and Michigan will be number one. Michael, I want to get your take on this Michigan team.
This Michigan team, I love this Michigan team. And I know everybody's going to say what they want to say about the sign stealing scandal and whatnot and all the controversy. This team, if I could describe them in just a phrase or two, it's overcoming adversity. There's no other way to put it. You have your coach suspended twice throughout the season. Twice. Connor Stallions resigns. Chris Partridge gets the boot. Zach Zinter, your best offensive lineman, goes down in Ohio State. And I got chills that very next Blake Corum play. Absolute chills. I love this Michigan team. And just taking a look right now at Iowa, they are already, DraftKings and FanDuel both list Michigan right now at 22.5-point favorites. Caesars, PointsBet, Rivers have Michigan favored by 23, and BetMGM is 23.5. So Michigan, I'd say Michigan is looking really, really good.
I say the one
Against
thing you got to
Iowa.
worry about with the Iowa defense is how stout they've been. I mean, their offense isn't anything, so we don't have to worry about that. But, I mean, that defense, just not making mistakes. JJ's got to be clean in the pocket once again. I mean, JJ was slinging some lasers and just putting the ball right where it needs to be. That Roman Wilson touchdown, that thing was beautifully
That's what we
placed.
need.
It was.
We need that JJ McCarthy against that defense. I feel like this team can put up 30, 40 points on that defense.
Oh, easily.
If they play right. If they run the ball the way they ran the ball against Maryland. Penn State, excuse me. the way they ran that ball against Penn State and Ohio State, they need to treat Iowa like they're Ohio State.
Yep.
Game plan for Iowa like it's Ohio State.
I think we hold them under 14 too.
And I will say this, too, about the Michigan-Ohio State game, and going back to earlier conversations about Ryan Day. Ryan Day is a heck of a coach. He's done great in the Big Ten. His record's 56-7. I mean, it shows. But again, what people are going to look at on your resume is rivalry games.
Some big boy games.
Exactly. Ryan Day is now 1-3 against Michigan. Now, do I think he's going to go? I originally thought he was going to go, but I think now that I'm reevaluating, I don't think it's his time yet. If by some miracle Ohio State somehow makes it in the playoffs, which I don't think they're going to.
That will take a severely not going to happen set of circumstances for that to happen.
But let's just say hypothetically.
Right.
Hypothetically, if Ohio State makes it in the playoffs and they lose, now you're getting somewhere. I think that time, hypothetically again, if that were to happen, I think Ryan Day would be gone from there.
Isn't he 1-6 against?
He's 1-6 against teams like top 10
against ranked opponents. He's 1-6.
Yes.
That's glaring too. Because if I'm running a program or I'm a general manager, if we're talking pro, and my football coach is 1-6 when it matters, what's the point? If he can get you there, but he can't finish the job, what's the point? Born on third base. That's the big popular thing right now. You were born on third base. You can get there. You can't come home, though. You can't bat that run in. 1-6 when it matters. There's no point to a season if you can't coach when it matters. There's no point of 56 and what was it? 56-1 against
like
non-ranked opponents. There's no point in that 56-1 record.
I'm just saying, if he does go, Oregon State has an opening.
Yeah.
You
You think he goes all the way down to Oregon State, though?
Where else is he going to go? There's no Big Ten schools with an opening because Michigan State just picked up Oregon State's head coach.
If Michigan State picked up Ryan Day, I would not have been a happy camper.
I don't think he stays in the Big Ten because I don't think there's any openings in the next couple years.
I mean, Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could see him going down south too. Wasn't one of the Mississippi schools?
He'd have a better
open
time
up?
recruiting to Texas A&M than Oregon State.
I think Ryan Day would fit the A&M package really well. So I don't know. We'll see. There's good options for him if he does leave, or if he does get kicked out. So I
mean,
don't know.
as I
we'll
said,
see.
that 1-6 record is so glaring when it matters. It's like you look at it and you're like, as I said, there's no point in getting there if you're not going to do anything. If you can't coach in the big games, then why are you a coach? Why are you coaching? Why would you be coaching for my team if you can't win those big games that we're supposed to win?
And just if Ohio State doesn't make the playoffs, they'll definitely make the Rose Bowl for sure. If they lose to the Rose Bowl against, I don't know,
Alabama, probably
the
Oregon
top,
State.
The top Pac-12 team is
Oregon.
Washington. Oh, Oregon, yeah.
Washington's going to the playoffs
I could see Washington and Oregon making it.
over Florida State.
Florida State will make
They
it.
don't have- they
I
don't
think
have Travis
CFP will be Georgia, Michigan,
Travis Hunter
Washington.
plays for
Not Travis
Colorado.
Hunter.
and
Who is
They
that?
don't
Jordan
have the
Travis.
quarterback.
Jordan Travis.
Jordan
Which
Travis.
could
I
be
got
the big-
confused with my Travises.
It could be the reason why they don't make it, but if
I think if Florida State makes it, it's an easy win for whoever's playing them. I'm sorry. They don't have Jordan Travis. They have a good defense.
That's why I
But-
hope Michigan plays
Wait.
Florida State.
who goes to the Rose Bowl? Who's the next
It's a
top
Pac-12
Pac-12
and Big
team?
Ten.
Yeah, Pac-12 big.
Probably
it's the-
Oregon.
Well, if Oregon makes it because Florida State doesn't, then they're in, and so is Washington. That's the two top teams.
Then who's the third top team?
I don't know. Oregon State
Alabama's. Yeah, I could see that.
at 22.
Yeah.
Sure.
Now,
It's
it would be really interesting to see a Washington-Oregon rematch.
Ooh, yeah, it would.
An Ohio State, Washington, Oregon State. That would be That'll be a little fun. But if they lose to Oregon State, then he's gone.
All right, so we've talked some Michigan. That was a good little discussion about Michigan, Ohio State here. We're going to move on to our NFL picks and going over NFL Week 12. It was a fun weekend in the NFL. We had some close games. Probably the best game of the week was the Bills and the Eagles. We're going to go over it all right now, starting with our first.
First of all, how'd we do this week?
Oh, yeah.
9-6, if I counted right.
I went 11-4.
Wow.
I
went 10-5, and I'm 70-45 in the year.
I'm 74-41.
I don't want to talk about it. I'm dropping.
74
I still have
and 41.
88%, though.
All right, so we're going to start with this Lions game here. We all picked the Lions, and
We don't need to talk about it. No,
don't need to talk about it. All right.
We're fine,
moving
Lions
on.
fans. That's all I gotta
Dallas
say.
Cowboys and Commanders,
This should
45-10.
have been a
Dak
gimme.
looked good.
Shut up. I'm gonna take
Ryan,
your hat.
sit down in your Colorado Rockies hat.
I love my Rockies.
We all
hat.
picked the Cowboys, though. Niners and Seahawks.
I hope we all picked the 49ers.
I picked the Niners.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
Niners.
good.
31-13 win for the 49ers. Again, Thanksgiving was the only good game was the Lions game, and we lost.
Every quarterback that played on Thanksgiving played like poop, except for
Dak.
Jordan Love and
Dak.
Dak Prescott.
So half of the quarterbacks that played on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, a third.
Four out of
third.
6. Yeah.
The Dolphins and Jets, the first ever Black Friday game. Miami.
I'm good for it.
When I like Black Friday football. I like having the games more spread out across the week. I think it needs to be more like that. Again, with college football and high school football, you can't really play Friday and Saturdays until nowadays, like in the season, later in the season.
I think
But-
they should implement it more. But yeah, I picked the Dolphins.
I picked the Dolphins as
I also
well.
picked the
I think they need to implement games across, like spread out games a little bit more, especially towards the end of the season. Like maybe 3 Saturday games, maybe 1 Friday game, and the rest on Sunday. I just think having so many games on Sunday, it's a little tiring going back and forth through all the games, and then you miss something when you change the channel. I just think the game should be a little bit more spread out. Might just be me though. Texans Jaguars. I picked the Texans in this one,
I also
I
picked,
picked
the Texans.
and the Texans lost on a doink.
Yep.
Yes, they
Off
did.
the bottom
I
of
picked
the
Jags
crossbar.
on this one, so I was fortunately
Nice.
successful.
There you go.
I was fortunately successful there.
So good pick right there from Michael there. Jaguars, they're looking good, aren't they? Trevor Lawrence starting to figure it out. They're sitting atop of the AFC. Jacksonville, man, they're a sneaky little team to get in there and maybe get to the Super Bowl.
If you would have told me 2 years
I-
ago
I-
that the
that's why I
Lions,
said sneaky.
If you told me 2 years ago that the Lions, the Jags, and the Browns would all be really good, I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah, if you also told me a few years ago that the Bengals would be 5-6, I would have laughed too.
Yeah, the
If
Bengals
you
are
told
really
me a year
struggling.
ago that the Bengals were bad, then I would have laughed in your face.
Yeah. Speaking of the Bengals,
Speaking of the Bengals, they lost to
Yeah.
the first ever game without Matt Canada.
And
I
fun
picked
fact,
the Steelers.
under Matt Canada, they went 400 yards down the field 0 times. Yesterday was the first time in years that they went 400 yards down
They're
the field.
4-0 when Najee Harris scores a touchdown as
Yep.
well.
And also, I normally say fire Matt Canada, but he's gone. So now, fire Aaron Glenn.
You know
agree.
who I think is a sneaky little candidate to replace Aaron Glenn? Jesse Minter.
I will be so
Right
happy.
in your backyard.
Wow.
You know, if Harbaugh leaves and Sharon Moore kind of wants to blow things up a little bit, I think the Lions could pry away Jesse Minter. He's right in your backyard. Why not?
Why not?
Why not? He's an elite talent, but I picked the Steelers personally.
I picked the Steelers too.
I picked the Steelers.
Nice. So we all won on that one. Buccaneers Colts. The Colts take care of business at home. I picked the Bucks.
I picked the Bucks.
I picked the Colts.
I picked the Colts.
Nice. All right. So we have a little divide right there. Mike Evans did me good in fantasy, so you know what? I'm not complaining there.
Let's talk about the game of the week.
Tommy DeVito, you know what I'm saying? My Italian brother winning in the Meadowlands against the Patriots 10-7. What a
game.
contest. Oh boy, that kind of reminds me of that. What was it? Broncos against the was it the Jets?
I think so.
That Broncos game where it was like 9-6 on Thursday Night Football. What a game that was. 10-7, Giants win. Tommy
Picked the
DeVito.
Giants.
I also picked.
He already has almost as many touchdowns as Bryce Young in half as many games. I saw that stat earlier today, and I found that pretty crazy.
Yeah, Bryce Young is not good, guys.
Bryce Young is
I called it. I said it.
C.J. Stroud was the number one pick.
Yep.
And you know what? I'll admit it. I thought Bryce Young would be the better quarterback.
I didn't. I didn't even think Bryce Young was a good college quarterback.
Fair enough. The Falcons and the Saints picked the Falcons 24-15.
I picked the Saints.
That was the Anthony Schulte upset of the week.
It sure was.
Oh, baby. Are you kidding me? I looked at the percentage picked, and I was like, I completely forgot who my upset of the week was. I am on fire with my upset of the week, aren't I? I could pick an upset.
I also picked the Saints.
I felt questionable jumping on the bandwagon with Anthony, but after that game was over, I'm just like, we're going to have such a good conversation with this upset of the week.
This is amazing. I'm just smiling right now. I remember yesterday, my buddy Derek, a friend of the program, he was like, who was your upset of the week? I couldn't remember. I was waiting to see if I would surprise myself today, and surprised I am. The Falcons taking care of business against the Saints. The Saints have the Lions on deck next weekend. Let's go Falcons. Desmond Ridder, baby. Desmond Ridder. Happy about that. Titans, Panthers, Derrick Henry. King Henry is back. 17-10. I think that shows that the Titans should have used him more and more throughout the season. Even when, they've got that really good guy behind him. I forgot his name, but they don't use Derrick Henry the way they should, and look what happens when you do. You win the game.
Who started at QB that game?
For the Titans?
Levin. Was it Levis?
Yeah, Levis.
Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
Levis is a starter for the rest of the year.
And I finally figured that out.
And Broncos. Broncos take that one, 29-12.
Broncos are back.
I picked the Browns.
I also picked
A couple of these picks are a little questionable for me that I lost. If I would have just went with my gut, I would have been almost undefeated this week.
I also picked the Browns. I thought the Broncos. I thought they were frauds. I seriously do. Now I think
Russell's back, baby.
Prayers up to DTR though.
Yeah.
Taking that big hit in that I think it was the third quarter, really late hit
and
in concussion.
Samaje Perine finally got a touchdown. He's on my fantasy league, and I started him for 12 weeks, and he hasn't got a touchdown, and he finally got one yesterday.
Samaje Perine, baby.
Love
Cincinnati legend, Samaje Perine. But I picked the Browns. A rough one.
Yeah.
A rough one that game was. I'm sure not a lot of people had that game on due to a game coming up in the next couple picks. Rams-Cardinals, I picked the Rams. I think that was an easy pick. Was that somebody's upset of the week?
That was my upset of the week.
I also picked the Cardinals.
Yep. And that's why you don't hop on that bandwagon.
That was not a good upset.
Anthony, I'm on your bandwagon again. I picked the Rams for that one.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that Trey McBride, Kyler Murray connection would have hit.
Yep,
No, I
me
was
too.
very wrong.
I mean, it did.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
did.
Kyler had a
Just
good
not
day.
enough.
Yeah, his defense
The
is
defense
terrible.
is just bad.
You just boot a Baker, needs to go. I'm sorry, you got to reset.
I mean, Cardinals have had to reset since Larry Fitz retired.
True.
Eagles, Bills, game of the week, easily. 37-34. Eagles pull out an overtime victory. And Josh Allen, turnover magic. He's first in interceptions since he entered the league. Let that sink in.
Yeah, but you also got to be out there in passing yards and touchdowns too.
Doesn't matter if you turn over the ball.
True, but hey, he's back. He looks like he's back.
This is what I'll say about the Bills, and I think Derek would agree with me on this. Josh Allen, they need to find a new quarterback. Yeah, he could play good a couple times here and there. He plays like he did back in 2020 or 2021. If the Bills want to be relevant and they want to try and win a championship, Josh Allen's not your quarterback anymore.
No.
He turns the ball over too much. I mean, look at that Gabe Davis play at the end of the game. To win the game, and apparently it was a designed corner route, and you throw it to the middle of the field. Originally, I was giving Josh Allen the benefit of the doubt here because I was like, you know what? If Gabe Davis would have just went towards the middle, that would have been a touchdown. But if it was a designed corner route and all he was doing was running his route and Josh Allen either missed that bad or did not read the play, That's a problem. That costs you the game right there. That decision right there. That ball placement right there. That lost you the game. Interception lost you the game, in my opinion. How do you lose to a team you were dominating by over 200 yards and played a clean game in that first half? I don't get it. The Bills are a dumpster fire. Eagles win. I'm not complaining about it because I picked them.
I also picked the Eagles.
I think everybody picked the Eagles here.
Yeah, I did Eagles here.
The Chiefs had a little bit of a scare in that first half against the Raiders. Seemed like nothing was going right, and then the second half, everything started to click for Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, the Swifties, and all. 31-17 Chiefs win. I picked the Chiefs.
I picked the Chiefs, too.
I also picked the Chiefs.
The Chiefs defense did
Pacheco
not.
had a day.
Chiefs defense didn't really do anything for me. But Josh Jacobs had that giant TD run. Thank you very much. Jacoby Myers got a touchdown. The Raiders, they made the game the first half. Valiant effort. But the Chiefs, I don't know who do y'all have? Chiefs or Jaguars as the best team in the AFC? I'm going Jaguars.
That's tough. Here's the Chiefs have no weapons, and that was shown on Monday night last week.
It was shown last night,
and
too.
It was shown last night, too. Scantling stinks. Hardman stinks.
Honestly,
everybody
Hardman's
stinks.
out. He's injured.
Yeah,
honestly, I think it's all tied. I think there's a 3-way tie for first place.
There is.
And I think it's slightly now leaning towards the Jags.
Actually, technically, Baltimore is in first place with 9-3.
Okay, yeah, no, it's the.
But they haven't had a bye yet.
I think Baltimore's in first place, and then you have second place tie.
I think
between,
the Jaguars beat both Baltimore and Kansas City in the playoffs. I think they do.
I think the Jags will make it to the AFC Championship.
I'm really high on the Jaguars.
I think they make it to the ship, but I don't think they win it.
You have Captain Kirk. You have Evan Ingram. You got Ridley this year, who's been great for you guys. You have Travis Etienne. You have a solid defense. You got Allen. You got
the better Josh Allen.
As for who was the number one pick last year, I can't think of it. It's like
Kayvon.
No, it wasn't Kayvon. It was
Kayvon
Walker.
Trayvon Walker. He's been solid for the Jags this year. You got great.
Not better than Hutch.
You have a great second. No, definitely not. But Hutch has been
he's just been
consensus number one pick. But you got a good secondary. You got a good D line. You got a good O line, and you got to finally have a good quarterback. And just the Jags, I think, are one of the most complete teams in the NFL, and that record shows for sure. And Doug Peterson has totally turned that team around.
I agree.
Well, by the way, we're talking about the consensus number one overall pick. People are saying Kayvon's better than Hutch.
No.
I just want to say this right now. Just because Kayvon has more sacks doesn't mean he's not getting held every single play that he can get a sack. That's all I'm going to say about
Hutch's
that.
jersey's ripped every game because he's so shifty and elusive that they don't want him to touch the quarterback at all. And Kayvon has somehow found a way to do that because he's so big. So Hutch needs to muscle up a little bit, but still not lose his spinning and his ability to cut through that O-line.
He's got to find a way to break through.
And he's getting held every play. That's why he doesn't have as much sacks as Kayvon Thibodeau.
Sunday Night Football, Ravens, Chargers. Trey Flowers called game. 20-10. A little bit of a dud for a national TV game, but nonetheless, a little defensive matchup. Never hurts. Ravens win 20-10. I picked the Ravens.
I also picked the Ravens, and Lamar put up a dud in fantasy, and I'm going to lose this week.
He does that every other week.
Yeah, I got the Ravens here.
Nice.
Low-scoring game, but Ravens continue to roll on. They are 9-3 now, and the Eagles, going back, are the first team now with double-digit wins at 10.
They are. The Eagles, very impressive team, but you know what? I think the Lions could beat them. I think the Lions could beat the Eagles. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Vikings, Bears.
I got the Vikings.
I got
a nice little NFC North matchup. I got the Vikings. I really hope the Bears win, just so the Lions kind of offset. The Lions are still where they were walking into this week in the North. But TJ Hawkinson is playing. Justin Jefferson is still questionable. I think if I'm the Vikings, I'm not playing Justin Jefferson this week. I'm going into the bye, giving him an extra couple weeks to really make sure he's healthy. You don't want him to re-aggravate anything. But yeah, Vikings, Bears. I got the Vikings.
I want the Bears to win, but
they won't.
Let's be realistic here.
I mean, the Bears have 7,000 more primetime games left?
Yeah, it seems like
it's like they have a primetime game every week. I just want them. I just want the Bears to win, but then again, they go into the bye, and then they got another game. And then they play the Lions on Christmas Eve. We play on Christmas Eve. Again, we're going to lose to the Vikings. But I pick the Vikings. Every time the Lions play on a holiday, we lose. I don't get it. But we get to play on Christmas Eve again against the Vikings, who are one of the hottest teams in the NFL, and they got a bye, and then they're going to go into the next week. I don't know who they're playing, then they play the Lions on Christmas Eve.
So speaking of Christmas,
Ho, ho, ho.
Christmas time means gifting, receiving gifts, and a great gift is a box of cards. It's been like that for a little over a century at this point. Baseball cards, basketball cards, football cards. We're the card guys. We enjoy cards here. We're going to talk a little bit of NBA hoops. Just came out recently. We've seen some breaks. We've seen some reviews on it. I've seen the product. I've opened the product personally. I got an Oster Thompson rookie card already. Didn't get any OMBs though, but hopefully I will soon. How do you guys feel on this new NBA hoops product? I love it. I love the inserts. The one thing I don't like is the lack of autographs from the big names, but can't help that they signed with Topps.
Yep, the better company.
So what are you guys thinking about this NBA Hoops product and what we got for a little bit of while here with NBA Hoops?
Well, it was supposed to come out, a month and a half ago?
It's supposed to come out like early November.
So there's your first...
You've been panini'd.
Yeah. Obviously, it's hoops. The design doesn't change from year to year. At least a lot, and they notice
it's minimalistic.
I mean, the cards they're not sought after, but they just look clean. They're nice cards.
I mean, they're going to be sought after for a little bit because
true.
A big headline in the card world right now is the lack of NBA product. The only NBA product that's going to release between now and like mid to late January is Origins, which is a premier product that is not cheap. It's not retail.
True. I don't know. I really like what they've done. Obviously, like the big autos you can get is the Thompson twins.
Yeah.
Because pretty much everybody else at this point is...
Can Wemby even be on the cover of a box? Because he's not signed with
I don't think so.
Panini?
But, like you said, the inserts are really good. The presentations inserts are sweet.
I love those. I'm sad there's not a Cade Cunningham one. At least from what I've seen online, I haven't seen one yet.
I also really like the Attack at the Rack inserts. Those are sick.
What about those rookie magazine cover
those
cards?
Those
are sweet.
Nice.
With the headshots. Those look clean, especially hollow ones.
I mean, the inserts, they're nice. Like, there's nothing around that.
I'd like to say this is one of the best sets of inserts we've had from Hoops, in a while. Yeah, they've really stepped up their game with the inserts in Hoops. I mean, Hoops, again, it's a bare-bones minimalistic product.
Yeah, that's why it should not be $200.
I mean, retail, it's $25 for a blaster, and you get 90 cards. That's why it's like, if you want to rip cards and you want to get a nice little start to 23, 24, just get a couple blasters. You'll probably get a memorabilia or auto card. It's not that hard to pull from Hoops, especially since this year they're just giving away in retail. I opened up a Mosaic box. Black Friday sale at Jawbreakers in Utica. Hit them up. They're a great shop.
They're great.
I pulled a Kendrick Big Perk Perkins auto from a Mosaic box. That is very rare. So that was the first auto I've pulled since Ryan Rollins back at the start of the school year.
Yeah, I also pulled a pretty nice autograph on Black Friday. Shout out to Three Kings Card Store up in Canton. Their Instagram and Facebook is full of one-of-ones that were pulled over the weekend. It's kind of nuts.
It's insane.
But I pulled a Topps Big League Baseball Riley Green autograph. Mind you, it's Big League. It's
rookie card, too.
Yes. And mind you, like, Big League, not the most sought-after cards in the world. And
still, you pulled a Riley Green rookie auto.
I mean, the only thing that would have made that card better is if it was numbered or if it was on card. Like, Big League uses stickers, which sucks. But it's still a really nice card. So
it's a solid pull. You pulled it from retail, right?
I pulled it from, like, the Big League Hobby, which is, like, 50-ish. Like, it's really not a hobby box. They just call it that.
It's like a in-between. Like, good price, but you still get the hobby odds.
It's like a mega box, basically. So it's like 8 cards per pack, 18 packs per box.
Okay.
Good price. It's honestly, I love Big League too. Their cards, really nice looking cards. They're very like kid-ish. Like takes you back to what
They
you
got
wanted
like the
when you were a
childlike
kid.
charisma
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, very cartoony.
Nice pull from you there, that Riley Green auto. But I think a big problem this year is the lack, at least the start of the card season for basketball, the lack of product on the retail markets.
Yeah, it's definitely a big issue, and hopefully we get more soon with Panini. I don't think anything's been on the schedule yet.
You'd think with the holidays coming up, you'd at least release like Prism, right?
Yeah, because Optic doesn't come out until February usually.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Prism usually comes out like March, but I mean, I think Prism comes out way too late for being one of the staples. I think it should go Hoops, then Prism, and Prism should come out in December. Having one Wemby product, which is Hoops, which isn't the most valuable of products, having Hoops come out for Christmas, and that's the only thing you have of this year for Christmas, I think that's ludicrous.
Yeah, I honestly think a lot of people are going to go out and buy Bowman Chrome.
They're going to go to Topps. They're gonna go to football. They're not gonna buy your basketball stuff. And basketball's got to be Panini's main focus at this point. They're gonna lose football.
It's going to go back to Topps next year.
So, what are you doing, Panini? You're releasing all this football product. Good on you. Focus on basketball. You don't want to lose that the basketball audience you have, because at least the basketball audience is like, you know what? Panini makes a couple good products. We can deal with it. Don't lose them because you already lost most of them. But Panini losing their audience a little bit again. A lot of people are upset about the lack of content and product, but Hoops is a fun drop, and I'll be sure to open up a little bit more of that over the next coming weeks and during the holidays. But that's all we have for today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Card Guys, episode 16 on 91.5 The Mountain, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. Join us Wednesday for yet another episode where we'll have some Detroit sports talk and possibly some more Tigers signings. We have an official one coming up today. We're not going to say who because it's not official yet, but it'll become official later today. For my good buddies, Ryan Donnelly, Doug Mobley, and Michael Rosenkrantz, I'm Anthony Schulte saying have a good one. So long, everybody.
Love you, Mom and Dad. It was great seeing you. See you in a couple weeks, hopefully.